It's Brian Preston, the Money Guy.
All right, we've got a question from Aaron. This is one that is a frequent debate around here, so I'm excited to hear what you say. Aaron says, I'm in step 5 of the financial order of operations. How does one determine if they should contribute more to HSA or Roth IRA, or can you use this step to max out both? And so just a refresher, step 5 on FU is Roth and HSA, working on maxing those out, making sure you open those up. And if you want a copy of this, you can head to moneyguy.com/resources, or you can even do a deep dive on this in our course at learn.moneyguy.com. But back to Aaron, how do you know which one to do?
How do you know?
And can you do both?
Okay, so he's asking this question. I want to make sure I got the question right. Which one is better between Roth and HSA?
Yep.
All right. So this is like an age-old question. It's been around since the dinosaurs, I think. They're both really, really good. And, a lot of times we'll give like long-winded answers. Let me give you my answer on the front, and then I'll dive into it. Both. Mm-hmm. Do both of them. Fund your HSA and fund your Roth. Max them both out. It's not like Roth IRAs and traditional IRAs where you only have a certain amount and you got to pick which one you do and that sort of thing. Do both of them. Max them both out. Now, in terms of deciding which one is the best or which one makes the most sense, you kind of need to understand how both of them operate. Roth IRA, you put money in after tax. You get no current year tax deduction. It grows without you paying any taxes on it. And then assuming certain qualifications are met, you pull the money out tax-free. HSA is a little bit different. It's for specifically medical expenses. So you put money in, you do get a tax deduction on the front end. You can invest those dollars and they can grow without you having to pay tax on them. And then if you use it for qualified medical expense, when you pull it out, it's tax-free. So an HSA is like a Roth, except for you get the front end tax deduction. However, HSA dollars have to be used for medical expenses. Roths are super, super sexy, but you really got to wait until after age 59 and a half to start using those dollars. HSAs, you can use at any time, even before 59 and a half, so long as it's for medical expenses. And then the other interesting thing about HSAs is, say you don't use it for medical expenses, once you get to 65, I think it just turns like a regular IRA where you can pull the money out. You're still going to pay income tax on it, but there's no penalty, right? It just works like a regular IRA. So you have to decide, okay, what am I trying to accomplish here? Like when I'm building out my portfolio, not all HSAs are created the same. If you have an employer that forces you to use an HSA provider, but maybe that HSA provider doesn't have great investment options, or maybe you can't even invest, you kind of got to think about that. Or let's say, hey, you got to use this bank, and if you want us to put our money in, you got to use it, but there's no investment option. Well, then you're like, oh, okay, maybe do the Roth, because one of the big benefits is being able to grow it. When you ask me, which do I prefer, which do I think is more valuable, I tend to lean to the HSA because of that front-end tax deduction. Because I think we're all going to have medical expenses either presently or at some point in the future. That extra tax deduction really gets me going. However, so much as it is in your control, do both of them because they are both amazing tools in your tax-free bucket building. I like doing them both.